Hello, YouTube! You guys knew this was coming. I have decided that today is the day that I upload my AJ Lee rant. Why she is the best. I don't care. She is the best female worker in the world. I know people are going to hate me for that. I do not care. AJ Lee is one of my favorite female wrestlers of all time. She's my favorite, actually. If I had to do a top five, she would definitely be in the top one slot. Under like Trish and Lena would be. Trish would be. It's so hard to choose between Trish and Lena because I love them both, but I would definitely have to put Lena first and then Trish because I love Lena a lot. I love Trish too, but Lena just. It's just something about Lena that I like more than Trish. So it usually be one, Lena is two, Trish is three. They were definitely the top three and my favorites. But Asia Lee just speaks out to me. She is so different, so inspirational. She is just so different from any other female that you've seen walk into that company. And you could tell Mr. McMahon cared a lot about her because he was invested in her to make her a top female worker in the business. Now, some say, oh, but he's not investing in the women now. I mean, let's be honest here. If AJ was right now, if AJ was here right now, WWE to boost up the ratings, Music Man would definitely push her to the top spot. But you got Charlotte. I mean, not Charlotte. I love Charlotte. You got Becky. I keep not Becky. I don't really like Becky Lynch. Just putting out there, she was never really special to me. Like nothing about her character that she had. To me, I feel like she has no charisma. Her pipe bombs, her promo work isn't good because I can't understand a damn thing she's saying. Um, and she doesn't really have any in ring work. Her ring moves aren't as good as AJ Lee's. But this isn't about Becky, Sasha, or Charlotte or Bailey. This is about AJ Lee. Why I love her. So it all started in FCW actually before it started at NXT. After I've been a fan, like I said this, I've been a fan of WWE as long as I can remember. So when my favorites left, like Michelle McCool and Maurice left, and Kelly, I had like no diva to get behind. So I was on YouTube and I realized that WWE had like FCW stuff. So I saw AJ Lee. I watched some of her promos backstage, her promos in the ring, some of her matches at SCW, and I really liked her. I said, Music Man needs to sign her up, sign her a contract right now. She could help save this division. And then when I saw her on NXT, when I watched the NXT episode that CM Punk was on when he was doing commentary, I fell in love with her even more. I kept watching NXT season 3 over and over again, over and over because of her. Like I really loved AJ Lee. She was just like the only diva on that roster that spoke out to me. She was different. She was a geek. She liked video games. She liked the superheroes. She liked the comics. And she wasn't all about like the average. She wasn't the average female wrestler or diva at that time. She wasn't really all about the makeup or getting your nails done all the time or anything. She liked the tennis shoes. She didn't really like high heels. I'm a girly girl myself, but I don't really like high heels. Like I tried them and it's just not the thing for me. I like flats and I love Converses. I have like hella boxes of Converses. I really love Converses. But back to AJ. Um, yeah, and she had a 5-star match with Naomi on NXT and everything, and then she got eliminated. She got eliminated in NXT. I really thought like this was the end, like so like we're never gonna see her again. I'm thinking like, well, she tried her best and it didn't work out, and I'm thinking like, well, we're not gonna have a good diva like her ever again. So then it happened on SmackDown in 2011. She debuted, but then Miss McMahon made her a jobber. I don't know if he made her a jobber so he could build her up as a caliber star, but he made her a jobber with her and Caitlyn, and then her and Caitlyn stopped being a tag team, and then that's when things got interesting. Italy's character really spoke out in the mid of 2011 when she started dating Daniel Bryan. Music Man put two people together who the crowd really wasn't really invested in. And her and Daniel Bryan, as much as I didn't really like them together because he was such a jerk towards her, he treated her wrong and everything like that. They did have some type of chemistry, I'll say. Like, they had some type of chemistry, and then Daniel Bryan broke up with her after WrestleMania 28 because she gave him the kiss of death, the kiss of bad luck, or whatnot. And then she became more like psychotic, more bipolar, more of like a crazy chick who couldn't get over over her breakup with Daniel Bryan. And it just like her character was like really freaking out to me, and like we haven't seen a given like this since Mickey James, even though AJ Lee has had a better run as the obsession character and the crazy chick character than Mickey James. But that's a rant for another day. Um, yeah, and then things got really interesting, and like after WrestleMania and heading towards like June, like mid June and July, her character really started speaking out because she started becoming obsessed with her husband, CM Punk, and they had major chemistry. Like, I don't think I rooted for AJ Lee to be with anybody else besides her and CM Punk. Like, it was something about her and CM Punk that, like, that just spoke like, oh, they really, really have to be a couple. Like, they both weren't like anybody else. CM Punk was a different wrestler. Like, he didn't like everything. He go against the grain. He didn't agree with the most popular opinion. The same with AJ Lee. They both like comic books. They're both nerds and geeks. They don't like the same thing everybody else likes. They're not. AJ Lee isn't Nikki Bella. CM Punk isn't John Cena. They're not into the same type of stuff. They don't do the same type of things. Like, they're different type of people. Like, and like when the love triangle started happening, like I didn't mind Kane being involved because Kane being involved even made it more interesting. When she kissed Kane, I was really shocked because like I was thinking like, how could she not be intimidated by Kane? Are you not afraid? And then when she kissed him, I'm thinking like, so it's a four-way love triangle now because Kane's involved. And then Kane broke things off with her because he said she's psychotic and he doesn't want to be with her because she's unstable and everything like that. And then the day that she pushed CM Punk and Daniel Bryan off into the table, I was really something like her character is really starting kicking off. Like WWE might have had shoved her down our throats, but you cannot sit here and not tell me that when you watch Raw 2011, I mean, I said 2011, in 2012, you were not invested into the show. Like, you cannot tell me her promo work with them and her segments with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and Kane were some of the best segments of that year. Like, when you will watch Raw, you're like, okay, so when they go show CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Daniel Bryan, because this storyline with them was just very, very big and really investing. So, um, and then after that on SmackDown, Michael Cole was asking her why did she do that, and she tried to explain herself, but he kept interrupting. And then she was announced as special guest referee for CM Punk and Dan Bryan's Money in the Bank match, which is also 5-star. I don't care who the fuck hates CM Punk, I love him. Um, Dan Bryan came out there sucking up to her and saying that he knows that she'll do a beautiful job and that he forgives her, you know, being a simp. And CM Punk came out there and he just didn't let it be short and sweet. He told her that she need help. She's unstable, and what she did was really uncalled for because she did it to get attention because she was upset that he wouldn't pay attention to her. Um, and then she kissed both of them, which was I was confused on because I thought she wanted nothing to do with Dan Bryan because he was mistreating her or something like. Okay, why would you want that jerk? He was CM Punk. You two obviously have a good chemistry. So when she kissed both of them, and then it started to become really developed long triangle. AJ was more invested in being with CM Punk than she was being with Daniel Bryan. Her and CM Punk would have cute backstage segments and everything like that. Like, it was just so cute. I was really rooting for them. I had no idea that all that flirting and all that storytelling would have them be married to this day. I was really shocked to see that because I always rooted for them to be a couple. And then this is the moment I think that shocked me the most with AJ Lee was the day that she proposed to CM Punk. She got down on one knee and told CM Punk that basically, I'm in love with you and I want to take this to the next step. I didn't think that she meant like marriage. I thought she meant like, oh, we're going on a date and I'll get to know you more, and then we'll fall in love, and then get married. She wanted to jump in straight into it, like get married and have his babies, like. And CM Punk didn't answer the question, and then Ryan came out there and proposed to her, and then CM Punk said this is a fluke and this is some phony shit, and then Darren Bryan said say yes, and then he didn't say anything, and then Darren Bryan said, you see AJ, he doesn't care about you, he's using you to win his championship, to win his match. And then it was then Michael Cole said that it was gonna be a mixed tag team match between CM Punk, AJ Lee, and Daniel Bryan. And then she said that everything was just confusing, and she know that she shocked CM Punk with the proposal, and then Bryan shocked her with the proposal. And then she said that she know that at the end of the night because she will be walking out with her future husband. The match was great, even though it was cut short because we don't need to really make the match long. We got to get straight to the point here. And after the match at the AJ Lee Pin Eve, Dan Bryan said that he was sorry and that he wants to get married and everything. And then CM Punk said that he doesn't care what he about to say. It's gonna cost him his championship match at Money in the Bank, and that he just told AJ Lee straight out that he can't marry her. It wasn't the fact that he didn't feel the same way about her. It's just that marriage, I rarely even really know you. We talked a couple times backstage, but I don't really know you really to jump into marriage, you know? And then she slapped him and said that he broke her heart. And then Money in the Bank, like, oh my gosh, it was just, that match was 5-star and everything. I was kind of upset that they just dropped the CM Punk and AJ Lee stuff so quickly because it had a lot more potential. And then Herndon and Bryan got engaged, and then they were going to be married on Raw 1000. Only turned out that AJ was going to be the general manager. Like, you could tell Vince McMahon was really invested in her. How many women in WWE that was a diva became general managers? None. There were none. AJ Lee probably was the only diva who worked on the roster to become a general manager. And even though her and CM Punk, even though the storyline with them was or with the whole love triangle, when they were backstage, they still lived up to that chemistry. They still lived up to it. Like, oh, like the sexual tension is there, the chemistry is definitely there. My favorite backstage time with them is definitely on September, was in Raw in September when he had on his pink attire and he said that John Cena doesn't have a match tonight, but I do and everything. And he was assuming that one of the reasons why she was taunting him was because he embarrassed her in front of everybody. It's not even that all these segments, every single segment they had before she was let go as GM was always good to me. Like they still had that chemistry. Like I'm saying, like the storyline still have potential. When they dropped her as general manager, I was hoping they would go back to her being with CM Punk, like investing more, like probably coming out there during his matches and wanting to be close to him again because she wants to start over. But no, WWE decided to pair her up with John Cena in some affair segments. Well, it was also good. I just wasn't invested in her and John Cena being a couple. It just felt so kind of forced to me. It's like those movies where the geeky girl gets with the jock of high school and everything, and it's just movies like that always seem forced to me because like you watch the whole movie and like the couple show no chemistry at all, but yet they're kissing and say they want to be with each other and like you just are not feeling it. That's how I felt with AJ Lee and John Cena. Like even though they would kiss and do all the talking backstage and all the flirting, it wasn't like it felt kind of forced, and I wasn't really like invested in her Justin and being a couple. So I was kind of happy when she turned heel at TLC. Her heel was amazing. She won the Slammy Award and she turned heel. Even though I think her and CM Punk had a better kiss than her and John Cena had, but that's a rant for another day. Um, she won, and then they paired her up with Dolph Ziggler yet again. It just felt kind of forced. It was nothing. She stopped wrestling, and he was dragging her career down. So like, it was better just to break them up. And when they broke up, I was so happy because she definitely doesn't need him. He needs her more than anything. And her rivalry with her winning the one contender to become to be with to fight Kalen at Payback was amazing. Their storyline was amazing. It will go down as one of the best Diva feuds of all time. I don't care, probably the best. Even though I'm overrating the hell out of her because she deserves to be overrated in a good way because she's the best. Um, the creative team actually cared because Miss McMahon was invested in her character. Like I said, she had charisma. She was over with the crowd, so why not? When AJ Lee won the title at Chicago, I was so happy for her because this is everything that she has worked 15 years for, from being in the Independence, FCW, NXT, being on the roster and the storylines for all the male superstars. She worked hard for that, and to see her have that ring for 295 days was just amazing. The pipe bomb that AJ Lee cut in August, on August, Raw, August 26, 2013, will go down as one of the best pipe bombs ever in the history of WWE. Everything AJ Lee said was true. I do not care. Think of all the people who was in that ring. The Bella Twins, Natalia, even Naomi at that time, before she became more relevant than she was before. We're all using WWE as a stepping stone to get over. They used her divas to get over. The Bella Twins didn't care about wrestling. They cared about being famous, and they cared about looking cute. They didn't care about putting on good matches and everything like that. They didn't care. AJ Lee cared. I like how people like to say, "Oh, she didn't invest more in her move set or anything like that." So what? If you're good at what you do, why improve in the ring? She's not like the Bella Twins. She's not botching the WWE since it's her botching this, because she's never botching. And then every single match AJ Lee performed in, I don't care. We're all good. Even though WWE might not have not focused more on the storyline, I think they just wanted her to beat all the divas so she can become the longest reigning divas champion. Because, like I said, Miss McMahon was invested in her. He wanted that to happen, so he did it. Her match at WrestleMania was really amazing. It was really good to see her come against the obstacles in her whole life. It was just really amazing. The night after WrestleMania, yet another amazing promo that she cut about being a poor girl in New Jersey to becoming the best divas in the world to defeating all the odds. That's what she's been doing her whole life. It was just amazing. Another one of her best promos. And then Paige came out. And WWE had her drop her title to Paige. Well, it made sense because she was getting married in June, so that's March. That happened in May, so March, April, May, June. So she was getting married in June, so it was better. It was good. At the same time, I hated it, but at the same time, I understood why she had to drop the title because Ms. McMahon was gonna give her paycheck anyway, and she was gonna get married to CM Punk. The whole time that she was gone, I really missed her because I couldn't really get invested with any other divas. Like, I wasn't really the biggest Bella fan. I wasn't really the biggest fan of Naomi or Paige. Paige is botchy as fuck. I can't be a fan of her. Um, and then when AJ came back and beat Paige for the Divas Championship, I was happy because finally someone who's actually a star could hold the title. And then her and Paige, their matches, I feel like they always deliver, but people like to say, "Oh, they had no chemistry." The thing is, I think the problem with their feud was AJ Lee had to carry everything. Paige is not a caliber star. Miss McMahon wasn't invested in her. He was invested in AJ Lee, so that's why he wanted AJ Lee to carry the matches. But without a doubt, to me, the best match they ever had was at Night of Champions. People like to say, "Oh, Nikki Bella's involvement made the match better." No, because she didn't really have anything much to do with the storyline. Simply just put her in the match because she was a heel. Think about it. AJ Lee, and guess who won? AJ Lee did make a Paige tap out. That night she became the third. She became a 3-time Divas champ that night. Boom. Boom. Besides the Night Champions match, I think the other match had to be the SummerSlam match. They got decent time. The match was great. Paige actually delivered this time that she did at Battleground. Because she didn't really, that was more like a babyface versus babyface kind of like feud. And the match was good. I think it wasn't bad. It was really good. But Paige was too damn botchy. It was just annoying. And then WWE made the biggest mistake ever. Having her drop her title to Nikki Bella was one of the worst mistakes ever. And then she took another league of absence. I was kind of upset because now she was coming back and WWE was making her a part-timer, which I had no problem with because you would think, oh, they'll use her as a part-timer to get other divas over who really need it. She came back for one of the best Divas WrestleMania tag team matches of all time. And then the next on the Raw was her last match I really don't count that as her last match. I count WrestleMania as her last match, but Raw is also her last match. She had two last matches. And then that was the end of AJ Lee. We never saw her again. She retired. And so to this day, I really miss her. I really wish she would come back. And that has been the story of the greatest diva of all time, AJ Lee. I really still miss her. I really hope she comes back one day because I really think that she can help with this division. I really think that she's actually the stepping ground of the Divas Revolution. I don't think it would have happened if it wasn't for her cutting that amazing promo, Triple H taking more time into the Divas, and Vince McMahon taking more time into them. A two-time Slammy Award winner, a three-time Divas Women's Champ, and she'll always go down as one of the best promo cutting, best storyteller, best in ring workers of all time. I really miss her. I miss her at CM Punk a lot, actually, because like they did it for me. Like their stories and everything about their lives just really encouraged me a lot to do better, to be different, and I don't want to be like everybody else. And thanks to them, I won't be. But she's doing so many good things right now with her life, with her being her and CM Punk being happy and healthy, and her with making her new comic strip and making books about her life and everything. I just watched a recent interview and she said never say never because her whole life she has never taken down an opportunity to be better. And I do hope one time, I do hope one day she decides to come back and put this division back on the map because it's so many good dream matches she can have, and it's so many good matches that she can have with all the stipulations women are having right now. So this has been my AJ Lee rant to the greatest diva of all time. And AJ, I love you. I am your biggest fan ever. I don't care what anybody else says. I am her biggest fan of all time. I've always been, and I always have. And I hope one day she returns.